Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard! Kai Havertz in the Champions League final! Ivanovic! Yes. In the middle, it's just behind him, but it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Mathis with the ball driver! Mathis takes the net off! Hat-trick hero! Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game!
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode,
they say that the transfer window slammed shut. I don't think Chelsea even opened it, to be honest. Oh, welcome back. Well, that was a bit of a voice crack. To another episode of At the Bridge Pod, and I'm joined in the virtual room filled with some Lions. I've got Ollie, I've got Berth. Chris is a busy man. He's a busy man. That's why he's not here today. But of course, we don't need to know about what Chris is up to. We want to know what you two have for your moments of the weekend.
To be fair, I mean, I played golf, which was really fun, and I won as well. I'm with 4 friends. My highlight of the weekend.
Oh, sorry.
I sort of took a bit of a trip down memory lane. I thought I'd stay up and watch the wrestling on Saturday night. So I stayed up from 11 o'clock at night to 4 o'clock in the morning to watch the Royal Rumble. And I'll be honest with you, best night of my life. One of the best nights of my life. So
yeah, I'm not big into wrestling, but the Royal Rumble is fun to watch every year.
it was so good. And you know what? It really was quite nostalgic and I actually loved it. At 31 years old, just staying up, it was really fun. So,
did you have a nap beforehand?
No, just absolutely
straight through. That sounds awful.
I can't see. We all know what's coming up this weekend, and I can't do it without a nap. I can't do it. I can't live off that little sleep. I can't do it.
Not with that attitude, you can't.
Right, Ollie, what have you got for me?
Do you know what? I had a little trip down memory lane myself. I've not had the best weekend, so this will show that this is the highlight. But a trip down memory lane myself is I always used to remember when my mum used to make me hot dogs for dinner. Right, I'd have I would take you'd cut the crust off some bread, you'd cook some hot dogs, you'd roll them up in there. It's like a little pig in blanket thing.
Oh, nice.
And I thought I haven't had those in a while. I remembered them for the first time the other day, so I went out, bought myself a pack of hot dogs, and I had some.
Bloody hell, that sounds quite good, actually.
Do you know what? They're really nice. Try them if you haven't. That probably sounds like an abomination to all the American listeners, but it's quite tasty. So yeah, give it a go. But yeah, nice little journey down memory lane for myself as well. It's nice when you can remember some food that you haven't eaten in a long time, and it always brings back memories. You know.
Yes. We've got a real wholesome highlight of the weekend this week. It's really nice, actually. This is been pleasant so far.
My highlight of the weekend. I'm just going to cue a VT up.
I'm with him now. We've just landed in Manchester from Lisbon. We've been sitting on the plane here forever. Just a sec. Ma'am, can we get off this plane?
Let her off the plane!
I am afraid you are going to have to take your seat.
The transfer window shuts in less than 12 hours. You don't understand.
Try to understand!
Is there any way that we can please get off this plane?
No! Oh my God. Did you get off the plane? Did you get off the plane?
I'll go off the plane.
Burnley, they've done it again.
You got off the plane.
Up the claret.
Honestly, I love Burnley so much. I really do.
Whatever they pay their social media marketer, manager,
we should hire them. Just for our show, not for Chelsea, just for us.
I think they might be wasted on this show.
No,
they wouldn't.
No, they bloody would not.
They definitely would not.
Right. Before we go to the news, I've got a little statement for myself to issue here. That's because let's all.
You're not leaving, are you, Mike? I know it's a window yesterday. But...
Right. After careful reflection, I've realised that I've been far too serious lately. Too much negativity. That's not me. I've been called out on it on the Discord, and this is not mocking anyone. This is mocking myself. So you know what? Effective immediately, I'm going to issue a mandatory recall on all my doom and gloom and bring back my signature brand of quirky, just stupid, can't pronounce anything right humor. So the listeners, you deserve my class clown antics. You deserve it. So strap in because we're hitting deadline day. Well, but you know what? Fuck deadline day for a minute. Because before we talk deals, I'm going to mention the absolutely awesome announcement from Zachia. What else I could actually see what I mean? Pronouncing names.
He's done it already.
I've done it already. Zachira Musovic and her partner who are expecting their first child. I've said it many times on the show, my favourite player for the women's team. I'm hyped for her. I'm wishing them both all the best. We all are. Great news. I just loved seeing some great news on a Monday morning. I must say.
Can you be hyped for a pregnancy? I guess you can. Yeah.
I can be happy for them.
Yeah.
I'm happy for them.
Like, hype? Yeah. Pregnancy?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I'll ask Chris when he's on the Friday show if he was excited for his. I hope so. I hope so. Anyway,
do you know what? We shouldn't ask him that. I fear we won't get the right answer.
Right. So, what exactly went down for Chelsea on deadline day? Well, I've got it move by move because I'm just going to read them out and you can just react accordingly. Don't lose your mind. You probably won't. So, Ollie, first up, I'm going to go Joao Felix to AC Milan on loan till the end of the season. No option to buy. 5 mil loan fee.
Yeah. Interesting, isn't it?
No. I mean, it's not a secret that we signed Felix so we could sell Gallagher. Let's get real. I saw Nizar Quincella had put it on Twitter earlier and I thought, we know. You know, we didn't want Felix. Let's be blunt. We didn't.
No, we were doing a favour for Mendes,
we wanted a Marodion. We wanted Samuel Marodion. And then we just went, oh, well, we got to get rid of Gallagher for PSR. I mean, we didn't want Felix. We still don't seem to want Felix. This loan deal just confirms our sporting directors have no vision. This will go down as one of the worst deals we've ever done. Joao Felix will.
I see that positivity, Mikey.
You know what though? And I think this sums up Chelsea. I don't think it is. And that sums up how many shit transfer deals we have had in the past.
It's actually true.
Bakayoko. Yeah, it's not the best. Right, next one up. Axel Disasi's gone to Aston Villa on loan to the end of the season. No option to buy. It's a running trend, listening.
I've seen people, actually, with that one, I've seen people come up and say that it's a bad move because we're strengthening a fellow top 4 rival. What do you guys think of that? Because I don't think he's going to help them at all.
I said from the day one we should not be letting him leave till the summer because we need squad depth for Conference League. I was standing by.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I actually think I might have said this on a previous podcast. I don't think Axel Disasi is as bad as we make out. Look,
you're right. He's worse.
No. Not having it. I honestly don't think he's as bad as people make out. At right back, he's poor. Don't get me wrong. At centre back, arguably one of our best centre backs. That could be controversial.
Whoa.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take. But I think
Tuesday hot take that.
But I'm sorry. Are the other centre backs that much better than him?
We'll get to it in losers.
Berth will be making a statement to retract his Disasi comments on Friday's show.
I will stand by that. And you know what? I don't think Axel Disasi is great. And a lot of Villa fans, because obviously we know a lot from being where we are, have asked me, "Oh, what do you think to Disasi coming to Villa?" And I'm like,
"Good
bit
luck."
Bit of a clown, which he is. Bit clumsy, which he is. But he also, to be honest, gave me the best ever centre-back performance I've ever seen against Man City last year. So who knows what I'll give you?
Talking of Aston Villa, Khan Chukwuemeka to Borussia Dortmund on loan. This one has an option to buy. I can't find out if it's 42 million euros, 35 million euros. There's too many out there saying
it's above his release clause, I hear, which is 40 million euros.
What does that mean? Does that mean they get priority?
It means that they get a better structure for the deal, don't they? They can pay in installments instead of paying like the 40 million euros up front.
That is a good point. I don't think there's anything to add to that. I mean, he'll probably ball out. He'll do like a Maatsen last season.
Yeah, he'll do well and they'll probably buy him.
Ben Chilwell, Crystal Palace on loan, no option to buy. For
Good
me,
for him.
Yeah, I saw this move and I'm just genuinely happy for Chile. He finally gets a chance to play football. He remains in the London area. That's obviously, we all forget the human side of transfers, I think. So he's still in the London area. He's playing under a decent manager in Glasner. And you know what? I wish him the best, and I'll be watching him
Do you know what?
closely.
He'll do well he will do well there because he's going to be playing in his favourite position, which is left wing back. And not many teams play 3 at the back, 5 at the back anymore. But but Palace do, and so he'll be a good fit for them. Really good backup. He'll be pushing Tariq Mitchell for his spot for sure.
Yeah,
I think it is a very, very good move for him. Because at the end of the day, Ben Chilwell is a good left back. We all know that. If he stays fit, he'll always give you a 6.
But the difference, though, Berth, is he's a brilliant left wing back.
Is it? I disagree. I actually think he's a better left back than a wing back.
No,
I
he's great.
No.
When he's got that pace bombing up and down the wing, he's pretty good. I
don't think. Look, I think Ben Chilwell going forward is very good, but I don't think. I think Marcos Alonso is better than him at left wing back. I think as a left back, Ben Chilwell is arguably one of the best in the league. I do genuinely think that when he's fit. And again, could be another hot take for people.
I think that's another hot take. We're learning all of Berth's secrets today.
No, but I think Ben Chilwell will always give you a 7, 8 out of 10. I think that's what you want from a fullback is consistency. I don't think I've ever watched him go forward and be like, wow, like Reece James, for instance. But defensively, I think, he's always solid. So, yeah, that's my opinion anyway.
No, that's totally understandable. My final signing, actually a signing, incoming. I think Mathis Amoug from Saint Etienne, 15 million euros.
Go. Push pineapple, shake that. I'm just getting out in front of because that's what's coming.
Yeah, that would be sung through Stamford Bridge or Strasbourg Stadium.
Let's be real. He's not going to play for us, is he?
Seriously, I won't lie to you all. I think this guy is going to be a game changer for it. I know fuck all about him. I know nothing. I didn't know who he was before yesterday. I quickly Googled him and I was like, no idea. He could be a great player. I don't know.
Santos's replacement at Strasbourg in the summer. That's what he is.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I know nothing. I know nothing about him. Oh, right. Well, there's deadline day summed up. It was pretty. We didn't even open the window. If we're honest, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best deadline.
Shit window. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Right. Let's head to Kingsmeadow Corner because Chelsea took on Aston Villa. Oh, they're a theme this week. Yeah. In the WSL. Yeah, this is usually where I drop a really good monologue on the game. I didn't prepare one today because Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 1. And that was because our man Chris never rests, ever, until he did today. He was at that game, and I'd usually ask him to tell us about what he saw, but I can't do that. But he did send me his own match report via text that I can now read out to you all. It's a bloody long one. So fair play, Chris. Here we go. Honestly, another underwhelming performance, really struggled to get any rhythm or tempo into the match, and a real lack of quality in the final third limited our chances. Subs made a difference. Ramirez was the focal point we were missing, and she forced the own goal, but Nushkin was the real impact. Brought energy and quality that was really lacking. Charles had a very good game. Overall, a tough game, but we found a way to win and one step closer to the title. After the match, we waited for the players and was actually quite disappointed that a lot didn't even acknowledge people. I understand not coming over for photos and autographs, that's fine, but a wave or something is the least they can do. Millie was clearly still annoyed about the stupid fans in the ground. I'm sure you, by the way, know about that, listener. Hermano, Ramirez, who waved at my daughter twice. Hampton and Cuthbert were the only ones to say something. Sonia was out quite late, but came over for photos and was really lovely. Canarid also took some time despite being late out, which was really cool, and there was only like 8 supporters waiting anyway. I was told by a season ticket holder that apparently the club have told the players not to interact with the fans as much now after some incidents, but honestly, I fear for the growth of the game if the players lose that connection with the fans, which is what made the women's game so special. Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with what Chris has said there. And
you know what they say about Chris? He's got a long one, and the match report wasn't bad either.
But he's
genuine. You know what, Ali? I'm so glad you picked up on that because I started to chuckle and I had to mute my mic when Mikey said that. So I'm glad you brought that up.
But
anyway, it's the match report.
It's more of a comment on the women's game and stuff at the moment and the policies and stuff. Because let's be real, the game was boring.
That got really pushed. I remember the Chelsea statement on that about don't interact. It was like autographs or something. And I feel that did actually go a little under the radar a little bit.
It kind of makes sense though, because most people just sell stuff, don't they? But like, there's got to be a line somewhere between like not interacting with the fans at all and no autographs. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's got to be a better way to do it than they're currently doing it, because at the moment it's not creating like a joy between the fans and the players. It's creating an animosity, and that's not what you want.
I mean, obviously,
But I think.
yeah.
So sorry, Mikey, but I think these days, and I think it's just a problem in general with all sorts of sport and fame and whatever, and people in general in 2025, people just are really selfish, and they'll prod and they'll think they'll just cause problems when there's not a problem there shouldn't be a problem there, and that should be the same for the women's game and the men's game, whatever game you know you're at. People need to respect each other, and people need to just
100%.
It's getting ridiculous really now, and the club should never have to put anything out that you can't go to the fans and this and that because of so and so, because it's just ridiculous. You should ridiculous.
Always, it's like all of us listening, all of us here and listeners, we all feel that every day we should go to work and feel safe. Simple as that. That's 100%. A basic necessity that you feel safe, and the fact that they don't feel safe in these games, that's a worry, and that's got to be addressed instantly. Not, well, we'll look at it. No, you got to address it instantly, because it's just not acceptable.
And it's just a general rule for life in general. Just don't be a dickhead.
Oh, it's such a simple thing, and yet
it's such an easy
seems
thing
to
do.
pick up on it.
Yeah, it's
so
such
annoying.
an easy thing to do, and it feels like at the moment that nobody's very good at it.
No. I've got some quick fire winners and losers. Ollie's right, it weren't the best game, and I had a winner as Sufferball because it was back-to-back Sufferball wins. It was one of the most frustrating, infuriating but cheeky wins I have watched this season.
That really describes us this season.
Winners win, and I watched that game and I was like, I'm not winning here. I'm not enjoying this game at all. But the own goal, that summed up the game, didn't it? Own goal, and I did have another winner. I had Kira Walsh because she made a debut, and the cheer from the away support was quite loud, so I'm looking forward to the welcome that she'll get at Kingsmeadow. So that was I like that. Losers, I got two. Bit harsh, maybe, but I've got to do it, haven't I? Lauren James is a 9. Hasn't worked before Sunday. Still doesn't work. Stop doing it. And Katerina Macario. Not a great game by her standards. And she's a bloody good player, but it weren't a great game for her. And there was no threat from her going forward. Maybe she doesn't start the next WSL game, I feel. It's a shame because she's so... Remember when she came on, scored those back-to-back goals, and we were like, oh, back in the game. That was... Can't remember which game that was this season. Couple of weeks ago. So yeah, it was there's a reason we're now going straight into the Chelsea West Ham game, because it really was a game to forget. It'll be one of them that we won, we're top, we extend the lead, we move on. There's not much else, is there, guys?
No, not really.
No.
We'll roll on next week, but Invincible season's still on. Titles
exactly. You're right.
Going to be sewn up.
That's what matters.
Like you say, Mikey, winners win, and we won.
Winners win. So, winners and losers, as we welcomed West Ham United to the Bridge. Graham Potter returned to Stamford Bridge, probably hoping for some closure from his time at the club. Instead, he got a front row seat to another Chelsea performance that kind of felt like assembling IKEA furniture without the instructions. West Ham punched first, Jared Bowen pouncing on Levi Colwill's gift-wrap mistake, but Chelsea eventually stumbled their way back thanks to Pedro Neto and a Cole Palmer-inspired own goal and a little sprinkle of chaos. Maresca's side spent most of the match looking like they'd been stuck in airplane mode, only waking up at half-time. Neto came off the bench, added some much-needed life to Chelsea's attack, and then, just to really drive home West Ham's misery, scrapped with Bowen before Cole Palmer did his thing, forcing Wan-Bissaka to put the ball into his own net. Meanwhile, West Ham were out there fielding fullbacks at centre-back, goalkeepers on the bench for moral support, and midfielders signed from clubs most people need to Google to locate. They still gave us, though, a proper scare, and if it wasn't for Tosin's last-ditch block on Kudus, they might have walked away with something. As for Chelsea, we will take the win, even if it came with more red flags than a reality TV relationship. Oh, Chelsea 2, West Ham 1, and we kick off with the winners, as always. Who have you got? How many have you got?
It's
I'll go
3 and
straight
3.
in. I've got 3-3. I'll go straight in if that's okay, Mikey.
I've got 3 and 3. Chris has sent his in, but by the way, Tommy's now in the room. He's joined the kitten has joined the Lions.
Friend of the show. Friend of the show, Tom is.
Let's have a look. He has got 1, 2, 3. He's got 3 for 3. Technically, he's won 2 players, but 3 for 4. But Berth, you want to kick off? Go on then.
Yeah, I mean, I think this player that, and I think he's probably on both of yours and probably Chris's as well. He made a real impact. Pedro Neto.
Oh yes,
not on mine actually.
Boo!
Surprised at that, Ollie. To be honest, but if you can have your opinion. Whatever, that's fine. No problem. I think Neto, when he came on, was just fantastic. I think I was getting really frustrated with Madueke in the first half. Really, really frustrating me. And he's been frustrating me for the past couple of games, to be honest. Neto he is very frustrating. He's very direct. He's very quick. He'll just take a player on. And what really impressed me, not necessarily his goal, but the ball into the box before the goal, because it's a really good delivery. Then the finish was very good, and he did change the game. It's cliche, but he changed the game when he came on. And I think for me, personally, I would generally start Neto over Madueke now, because I think
on the right-hand side. 100% on the right-hand side.
100%. But I think for me, and I don't know what you boys think about it, but when I watch Neto, look, he's not the complete article. I know that. I get it. When you're passing the ball, his touch is always good. His passing's always good. He looks quick. He looks sharp. His crosses, for the most part, are all right. He always puts it into a dangerous area. I'm just not getting that from Madueke at the minute. For me, Neto has to start over him going forward.
I mean, he flipped the game on its head. I mean, Chris even said in his winners, he's got Neto, and he says played like he was pissed off at being dropped, but he's better from the bench, scored. Yeah, I mean, look, the difference between him and Madueke, as Berth just touched on, he's night and day. That's not even an exaggeration. And I love Madueke. His biggest issue, though, is it's that obsession with like sort of cutting inside. Like it seems to be the only move in his playbook. And Neto, he was taking defenders on the outside. He was stretching that game. He was actually creating chances, I felt, instead of actually just running into players. Like we were critical of Sterling last season of doing that. And guess what? It worked. Neto is pure quality. When he's on the pitch, our attack suddenly had a whole new dimension. We just need him to keep that form up.
You know what though, Mikey? You're absolutely spot on. And what I will say is football needs to be simplified so much, because what Neto does is so simple. He'll get the ball and he'll run down the line and he'll put the ball in. I'm not here. He's very rare compared to Madueke. He won't go down the line, cut back, and then pass it back. He'll run at the player, maybe go in and out, and then put the ball in. He might lose it sometimes, but I'll rate it. I think football, we overcomplicate it sometimes. I think sometimes we just need to simplify it a lot more than we do.
I think it's ironic that both him and Madueke had the same amount of accurate crosses yesterday, and it was 1 of 3. And yet that's what I mean. The eyesight test tells you something completely different. And I get bashed for the eyesight test, but I like to use my eyes instead of stats.
That's how everyone should see. That's how everyone should see football, in my opinion.
Yeah, you can use stats.
That's what people's Mourinho said, doesn't it? People who don't understand football look at it, understand it through stats.
Right, Ollie, who's a winner?
Winner for me is Tosin. Not just for the block at the end of the game. I actually thought generally he didn't really put a foot wrong all game. I like it. He seems to add some experience and some real leadership to that defense when it's struggling and on its arse a bit. And we'll get to some of the other defenders in losers, I'm sure. But yeah, he seems to offer something a little extra at the moment. And he's been, realistically, I'd say after Fofana, he's probably been our best centre-back this season.
Yeah. I mean, it's the experience.
So, deserves his flowers.
I agree. I agree, Ollie.
And you know what? And the thing is I know this is the winner section. I'm not trying to bash him. He is kind of bang average, and it kind of shows how bad our defender's situation is.
Well, I'm gonna let it snake back to me, because Chris has got the same winner. And who do you think Chris had on his first winner as well? The first winner on his list, Enzo Fernandez.
You know what? I like it because I thought he was very good. He's not on the winners list, but I like it.
Chris has said he thought he had a good game, played with energy throughout, and played in good areas. I'll expand on that. For me, why was he a winner? It took me a second. You know what? I watched it back a second time that game, more like 3 times, and then I started to fully appreciate how much he influenced the game. And you look, we're all been critical of him, but his biggest weakness used to be his physique. You know, you'd see him get shoved around like a shopping trolley, you know, with a wonky wheel. He'd be shoved around a bit. But this time it was a different player. And against West Ham, he were aerial duels against much taller players. He was pressing like mad. And he was using his body, his physique to shield the ball instead of like sort of getting bounced around. And that second half performance was impressive. I was like, wow. And then to top it all off, what did he do? He stripped off his shorts like a budget Chippendale and gifted them to a lucky fan.
Also,
that was weird. That was weird.
That fan, you are a fucking wrong'un, mate. I saw him sniffing those shorts.
That was weird.
That honestly, that should get you on some kind of watch list. That is wrong'un behaviour. Check his hard drive.
Chris,
what we'll say?
Go on.
What we'll say about Enzo Fernandez? He went on my winners list. He was going to be up until I'd say about the 85th minute. When I thought he had a really good game, by the way, not looking him, but the 85th minute, I think West Ham were on the attack, and I don't know if he like started lagging or something, or like
he looked behind
almost
him.
like he was almost like a fire stick, like he's a minute behind the game. I don't know what happened.
He looked behind. It was when he looked behind him, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
He was almost walking to the ball and like.
We used to absolutely crucify Jorginho for doing that.
It was casual stroll, and I'm like, "There's a player behind you. He's pressing you. Look! Oh God!"
But it was really weird, and I thought, "Are you okay, Enzo?" Like, but then he like got back.
Maybe he was gassed out by that point. Yeah.
But he did have a very good game, and I'm glad someone mentioned him, and I'm glad he was on someone's winners list. So.
Yeah. Chris, you're not here, but what do you think about people sniffing shorts?
It annoys me, you know.
Yeah, I can't blame you. Berth, a winner, your second winner.
So my second winner, this could be another one that's a bit random, but I think Malo Gusto was a winner for me.
Ooh.
For the simple fact that I think when we changed that right-hand side, I don't think Reece James had the worst game, but I don't think he had the best. But I think once he came on, he looked sharp. His passing was very good. He looked a threat. Him and Neto linked up really well when Neto got moved to the right. And I just thought that dynamic changed the game. And I think, for me, if someone changes the game, they have to be on the winners list. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, this is on that. You said Reece James. Did anyone else shit themselves when he came down on his knee like that?
Honestly,
no, not an ACL.
Scary. It was scary. Even Gary Neville was like, ooh. So,
yeah, and you know it's bad when you get the Gary Neville. You know, right. The fact that he walked that off might show that he's finally getting over his injury issues. Because a year ago, that would have had him out for 6 months.
Yeah, Ollie, second winner.
Jorgensen.
Oh! Where is it? What a game!
Listen,
sort of.
I mean, listen. The bar is in hell. Let's be honest. But he didn't actively make a mistake that cost us the game, and therefore we won the game. It's an incredible thing what happens when you put in a goalkeeper who actually knows how to use both his hands and his feet properly. He didn't have a massive amount to do, and he didn't need to. And when he was called upon, he was fine, which is what you want from a goalkeeper, someone dependable, other than, like, you know, not unlike Rob Sanchez, who is like a roulette wheel every time that you put him in goal.
You know what? It's really funny that that's the bar that we've got.
Yeah,
and it's really funny that, Jorgensen, the first 5-10 minutes was a bit shaky. I think we can all agree on that. But then he didn't do anything else wrong the whole game. Didn't really make a save, to be honest with you. Made one of his knee, but then he's now on our winners list. And I think that sums up how we feel about Robert Sanchez.
Yeah, I mean,
he acted. Listen, like, he didn't actively cost us the game, and that is enough at the moment to be a winner for me.
But you know what? He made 4 saves, 1 goal conceded, 3 saves inside the box, 5 throws, 8 recoveries, and 3 fantasy points if you had him in your Premier League team. I couldn't.
Nobody did. Let's be honest. Nobody has Jorgensen in their Premier League team.
Oh man, I couldn't resist. Right. My final winner is substitutions. 4 subs before 60 minutes. They won us the game. I have nothing else to add on that. Nothing.
Yeah, I'm the same actually, Mikey. I had the Maresca, but for the same reason. Like the subs were actually proactive, which was nice to see. because the first ones came at like the 50th minute, and they changed the game. So it's nice to see him actually be brave with that for a change, because we really needed it at that point. We were lagging so bad. So it was a good thing, because usually we're waiting until like the 70th minute and then just subbing Nkunku on for Jackson and then shrugging our shoulders.
That's true. Chris's final winner was Cole Palmer. Played with good energy and character, looked lively and forced the winner, and he did. Berth, round our winners off.
So my final winner is Moses Caicedo, because I think he was just everywhere. Just a typical Moses Caicedo game. I thought he won the ball back loads, brilliant, looked energetic. We come to get used to this by Caicedo now. But for me, I think it was a very scrappy and poor game. I don't think it was really high quality, and I think that suits Caicedo, and he always stands out in those sorts of games. And for me, he's just getting better and better. And I think arguably he's probably been, him and Palmer have been our best two players this season. So yeah, he's my final winner.
His stats from that game are so insane. It was 60 of 61 accurate passes. I was like, wow.
Drop the beat.
Not for that.
Yes, of course you can. You dropped every Jorgensen, but you can't drop it for
Jorgensen's special.
All right. Come on.
No, Rob Sanchez is special. That's the point. Is that Jorgensen is
72 touches, 8 passes into the final third, 2 of 2 accurate long balls, 5 of 5 tackles won, and 2 recoveries.
That is a very good performance. To be honest,
that's great. That's class.
So losers. Oh boy, where do I even start this? I've got Levi Colwill. Someone please correct me how to say his name, please. But Colwill, he practically, this is not me being negative, I've got to say what I saw. And he practically gift wrapped the opening goal with that hospital pass to Jorgensen. He was a chef. He served up a disaster on a silver platter. And you know what? What annoyed me the most about that play was right after losing the duel beforehand, instead of recovering and chasing down that ball, he just threw his arms up in the air. I was like, mate, what's that supposed to do? Just use those arms to generate some speed as you chase down the man who just beat you. Oh,
Colwill,
no.
it's always someone else's fault when Colwill fucks
off. You can't do that. And Chris actually had Colwill down and put arrogant, overrated, bullied again into an awful back pass. That wasn't me. I didn't say that. Was Chris. And it was look. That was his error, and no one else's. And you just got to own it. You just have to. And I think the problem with me, I do feel with this squad, the whole squad seem to have got the accountability of a toddler when they're caught with crayons on the wall. No one really owns up to anything, and it really bugs me. I mean, Colwill did own up after the game, but in the game, I mean, it's so different in hindsight to, react post game. But I'm like, it's just one of them. I'm sure other fans probably felt just as annoyed. I was like,
realistically, even he knew in the moment that's no one else's fault.
No,
you passed it to someone else, mate. I had him on my losers as well. In fact, in a combination of him and myself, because before the game, I was going back and forth with Chris, and he was saying that Colwill was overrated. I disagreed with him.
You did. I remember this.
I was saying that I think he's on paper. I think he's probably better than Chalobah. These are things I said. And then what does he do in the game? The first thing he does is make me look a massive tit. So thank you, Levi Colwill, for making me look like a massive knob to one of my friends. And it also it showed one of the major rules of the universe: don't disagree with Chris.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? Yeah, I think I will give some devil's advocate here because Levi Cole, look, he's 21. No one else, I don't think, is starting.
He's been
Premier
shit
League
for
games
weeks,
like that.
though.
But I don't think many players at his age are starting top games like his.
But I've given him the benefit of the doubt for weeks. I've been trying to, not go too harshly on him because he is young. But you know what? He's been fucking shit lately.
He hasn't
really
been great
needs to
lately.
sort it out.
But I will say, look, I'm being that positive guy. I said 21, and he's still got to learn, like the whole team has.
More like 21 Jump Street was what I was watching.
Bloody hell!
But that's a good film, though. It
is a good film. It is a good film. Right, Berth, who's your first loser?
To be fair, mine was Levi Colwill, and I've stayed silent then. I've stayed silent then because I don't want to say I told you so, but for a long time now,
Berth called it first. Yeah.
I've not been the biggest fan of Levi Colwill. I've said he's probably our most overrated player, and I will still stand by that. I like him. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good defender. I think he's not Virgil van Dijk, and I think he thinks he is.
You've got to aspire to something. Come on.
No, he's got all the attributes to be, but he's not at the moment. And I
He's
think
definitely got the arrogance.
He's annoying me because he gives away the ball a lot, and I know a lot of
Yes.
people say he's really good with the ball. I'm not having it. I am absolutely not having it at the moment. I think he gives away the ball. I said to I said to my flatmate last night, who I was watching it with, I went, Cole gave the ball a couple of times and went, he's going to cost us a goal in a minute. And lo and behold, what happens? He gives it straight to Bowen and they go for and score. Now, I'm as positive as anyone could be. And you all know that from my messages in the group chat. But at what point do we go, maybe we should just drop him for a few games?
It's inexcusable, isn't it? Like a pass like that, as a defender, is absolutely inexcusable.
His stats.
People say he should be. Sorry, Mike. I do apologise, but people say he should start every single game. I don't think he should. I really don't think he should.
His stats: he had 2 recoveries, once dribble past, 5 of 7 tackles won, 3 clearances. He was dispossessed no times, and he made. This is where I think you're probably calling it 64 of 80 accurate passes. And apparently he had the most duels won he won the most duels in the game. He didn't win the one that was important.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? And the thing is the stats do show that if he doesn't make that mistake, he's probably had a pretty good game.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same as Rob Sanchez, then, isn't it? Like, have an otherwise good game and just completely ruin it with one stupid moment where you've cost your team. I mean, we can't have that. I don't care how old you are. Sort it the fuck out, Levi.
Oh, right. So second loser. Chris and I have got the same bloke, Enzo Maresca. And
he's on mine as well.
Right. Chris has put poor game plan, made changes, but just like for like subs, result got him out of jail. Now we praised him on the subs he did make. My reasoning is I am the first to say that I dislike Gary Neville, but he made a comment last night on commentary that absolutely sort of exposed the management style of Maresca. And he said they're micromanaged within an inch of their lives. And for me, when I looked at it, when I actually listened and looked at what he meant by that, it did feel that every player looked like they've been handed like a 20-page instruction manual before kickoff. And they were just so rigidly following it that even the opposition knew what was going to come next. There was zero spontaneity, there was zero unpredictability, and it was like we were on autopilot, and it was easy to defend against. And there was a point, and I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget, there was a point where Tosin had the ball and West Ham just stopped. They just stopped playing. They just stood there and waited for him to do a sideways pass. Our fans started to boo, and then he hit the ball over the bar. I don't know if you remember that bit, but I was like, what are we doing? I think the worst part about this is that this micromanaging, even Prime Hazard would have been like probably reduced to a glorified like traffic cone in this system. And this is kind of why I dislike the Guardiola style of football. I get what it can do. It can be beautiful. It can. But it also puts a cap on maverick players. And I say that as someone who absolutely loved watching Jack Grealish at Villa. He was once that free spirit. He was a playmaker. He was incredible. Now he spends 90 minutes playing safe passes and recycling the possession. Sometimes, for me, the best players just need the freedom just to do what they want. And that is what's beautiful. Look at Hazard. Look at West Ham when he scored that goal against West Ham. I don't think he'd be allowed in this system to do that.
Mikey, like what I said earlier, football just needs to be simplified.
Yeah.
And it's way too overcomplicated these days.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because they, I can't remember. I think it was Jamie Carragher was talking to Gianfranco Zola. It was either after the game or on some kind of Saturday social type thing. And he said to Gianfranco, he said, is the game still producing players that you would like to watch, like that make you want to watch? And he went, no.
I know. Beautiful. Simple but true.
Yeah. And if someone like Gianfranco Zola, who literally was one of those players through and through, is saying that, then the game's gone.
You got to wake up a bit.
Sorry, real quick. Maresca, Do you know what? He's a loser for me for one thing and one thing alone. Stop making us cross the fucking ball. I'm so sick of us putting 400 crosses a game into fucking nobody. We are crossing the ball at no one. At no one. At the opposition centre backs. Who's going to win the headers? Cucurella? Probably not, because he's not up the pitch half the time. Jackson can't head anything within an inch of his life. And Kunku's rubbish at heading the ball because he's tiny. Palmer's not putting his head anywhere. And none of our wingers are even in the box most of the time to do it. And all our midfielders are less under 6 foot. So, what? Stop making us cross the fucking ball, Maresca. If we had a target man striker, I would understand it. If we had a Chris Wood, or we had even someone like a Peter Crouch up front, someone who can actually get the ball with their head and put it near or at the goal, I would understand it. But I just don't get it. Every single week we do this. We isolate the wide player, and then the wide player crosses the ball into fucking nobody. Stop doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think it would have helped if we'd have kept Cesare Casadei as Maresca wanted? I saw
Probably
that,
not.
and I'm like, you didn't play him at Leicester. You certainly didn't really play him.
Yeah, so you got a funny way of saying you wanted.
I don't get that.
I think you just wanted someone who understood him in his native language in the canteen. To be honest with you.
Right. Who's? Are we on third loser? Sorry.
No, I've not got Maresca.
Oh, who's your second loser?
I suppose it kind of is in a way, but my second loser is inverting fullbacks.
Oh, hate them.
Now, the reason why I say that, and I say it more and more often now, it made it really clear yesterday. I think Gary Neville picked up on it. When you invert a fullback, especially when someone's playing a low block, it's really good because you overload the midfield. Brilliant. But when you're trying to break a team down, when the winger gets it, and this is where I kind of feel sorry for our wingers at the same time, when they're looking to beat a man or looking for that overlapping run, it's not there. And I didn't see it as much yesterday. I saw Sancho trying to look for Cucurella, and he weren't there. He's in midfield still. And it's like, you're trying to break a team down here, 1-0 down, and you need your fullback to overlap and to create another option and to create that run.
We do not like the fullback to go up and down, Buff.
This is it. When that is quite. I'm not saying inverting fullback isn't a great option to have, but when you're trying to win a game, when you're trying to win a game, you need that extra option. You need that overlapping run, and it was frustrating me because Sancho made a wet game, Neto, Palmer when he was out wide at some points. He was looking for that run and it weren't coming, and it was so frustrating because they had to go back then, and then the fans were getting frustrated, and then the players were getting frustrated because they had no options, and it was just
you're making a rod for your own back, aren't you?
Yeah, and it's just like that. That's on Maresca. That is on Maresca. I couldn't put him as a loser because at the end of the day, he made the subs and they won us the game. But that really frustrated me, and I had to put that in because it's becoming a bit of an issue now. I don't care if it's James inverting or Cucurella. I'm not of that opinion where the other has to do it over the other. I think in general, as a better option, you need to overlap. That's just me.
Chris's final loser was Madueke and Sancho, and he put no impact, poor in the box, no movement, wasted chances, average. My final loser is the atmosphere, and
that's a good one.
Look, I have to bring this up because it gets to me a bit. You know, the atmosphere at Stamford Bridge. It's quieter than a church service on a Monday. I mean, at least against West Ham, we did hear a little something. We did. We heard a chant. You know, we heard a clap. There was definitely a bit of applause. For most of the game, I felt like you could have probably heard, if there was seagulls in the shed end, you could have hear them whispering about the chips they probably had a fight over earlier in the day. It's what's worse though, is I don't know why it gets to me. That's the thing. I don't know why it gets to me because Stamford Bridge, I remember it used to be a bit of a fortress. It used to be a cauldron-like atmosphere, but now it's got that vibe of waiting in line for a GP appointment. And I didn't know where to go with this until I saw that We Are the Shed, which, you know the Twitter account, the Shed End.
Yeah.
They said...
Great. They are great, to be fair.
They are amazing. And listen to this. They put, earlier this season, we gave the club feedback, alongside other supporter groups and reps, that a DJ has no place at men's games. The club listened and stopped it. Everyone happy. So what was the logical next move by the club? Bring back the DJ. Yeah, I remember that. I'm like, what are we before the game? You could sort of go, yeah, but mid game, I was like, what the fuck is this?
I do agree that mid
What?
game, I'm not a big fan of that, especially if you're not winning. But at the same time, it's like I don't think in one breath you can complain about the atmosphere and then in another breath complain about the thing that's supposed to help the atmosphere.
There is no way that actually helped the atmosphere.
Well, at least they're trying something though.
Play
Like, you know,
three
like,
little birds.
would you rather
them.
everyone
Prove this against Palace?
But that because of a DJ.
Shut up! I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like, and I understand that because it's the atmosphere at Stamford Bridge is terrible, but also like the people in the ground just aren't helping it. And I understand you spend your money for it, and I get it. Like you don't, you know, if you don't want to, you know, get up and cause a bit of a ruckus and stuff. Like I understand, you know. You listen. At the end of the day, you paid for your ticket. You do what you want with it. But if you sit there for 90 minutes and sit on your hands and make no noise whatsoever, so it's more about you as a supporter than anything else. Support your team. Give them a lift. You know, it's not hard.
Right, Ollie, final loser.
It's kind of similar. Vibe at the club at the moment. Because I can tell you, we won yesterday. We turned it around, you know, and we got a comeback win. First comeback win when we were losing at halftime at Stamford Bridge since 2013, and
Wow.
I felt absolutely nothing. I feel a little bit, you know, and that might have been something to do with the performance. You know, I felt like a fortunate priest because we needed a lucky cross to win. You know, to beat a team that on paper we should be miles better than. They're 15th in the table, and we huffed and puffed like we always do. It was a good result, don't get me wrong, because sometimes you have to find a way to win. But the performance against the worst Chelsea manager of all time and a crap team to boot was absolutely dire. And I look at the money we spent and the month we've spent doing nothing in the market, and I'm just thinking, like, is this the best we can do? I don't know like what's changed at the moment, but I went from loving watching us play to absolutely despising watching us play this season. Like I find watching us play boring, it's lethargic, it's slow, it's dull. At the moment I'm not enjoying watching us play football at all. And I don't know if that's something to do with personnel. I don't know if it's something to do with the club and how I feel about the way the direction of the club is going at the moment. Maybe it's on me, but I don't know. Like, if I'm a supporter, I'm not really feeling very supportive, and so I do understand that as well with the vibe at Stamford Bridge and stuff. Because if other people feel like I do, I probably wouldn't want to get up and make some noise that much either.
Yeah. Oh, Berth, who's your final loser?
Again, might be a bit of a controversial one, but I've gone Cucurella. And I don't think he had a great game yesterday. I think for a large part he weren't at the races, and he's been good all season. To be fair, he's not often I'm a loser of this, but I don't think he had the best of games. And he weren't really effective, and like I said about that inverted role, I think he just got a bit lost in the shuffle, which weren't really down to him. But I think he was not as effective as he used to be, or was in the past couple of games.
Okay. Right. I guess it's emojis. I went with a thumbs up because we won, and that's what matters. We won. Can't say fairer than that.
Sleeping emoji for me, because that's what I wish I was doing instead of watching that game. Boring.
Oh, come on.
I've gone for the bicep sort of bump. I've gone for that one because it's a win.
Win. So one win. Let's see who won. Lion of the week, and the picks were Chris had Cucurella. I had Jorgensen. Well, I've absolutely done great there. Ollie had Mark Yu. He seemed to
came on and made a big difference
and got injured. And
he's fine. Maresca said he's fine.
Oh, okay. And the wheel went with Caicedo. So who do we think gets that?
I think the wheel personally, but I wouldn't be disappointed if it was Jorgensen as well.
I'm being biased. Ollie, you get the deciding vote.
Caicedo then. Fuck you, Mikey.
All right.
I'll rate it, Ollie. I'll rate it.
Do we give it to Pedro Neto? Or do we give it to Caicedo?
Yeah. I think I'll give it to Neto. Yeah,
he changed the game.
He's a game changer.
Neto.
If you're not going to give it to Neto, you got to give it to you, and no one wants me to win.
No, no one wants that. Right, Quaresma's questions as I open up my phone. Here we go. Well, Strizzy5 said Jorgensen didn't have a standout night, but didn't make a mistake either. Won the game. I'm thinking they mean won the game in general, yeah.
Yeah.
Vic Ferreira, if Palmer plays right wing, it would improve our winger situation or benefit him more. Would it?
I agree. Yeah. Even Nkunku looked all right when he came on yesterday, I thought. Maybe the uncertainty around his future and stuff has got him, actually trying again, which is nice. But if that means maybe we have the option to play him in the 10 and Palmer out wide, I think I'm listen, I know better than to disagree with Chris twice in a week. Put Palmer out wide.
There we go. And you know what? We do have a Blue Sky account, and we do have a question from Blue Sky. It's from Mike. Do you purge social media after a transfer window? I've deleted Playback, subscription to In the Know Journo, and deleted a load of YouTubers. I just want to enjoy Chelsea my own way. Podcasts have been untouched, though. You guys get me through walking the dog. Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for you and your dog.
Thank you.
I don't really purge social media, but I think the transfer window as a whole now, I don't get excited about it. I don't give a shit anymore because of the fact that it's 24/7 news cycle.
I purge my own account. I delete some tweets. Let's put it that way.
I'll just stay off, especially Twitter, whenever Chelsea are on or whether the transfer window, because it's just transfer window wasn't what it was like 10 years ago when it was just Sky Sports News. You'd watch it all day.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Now you know exactly what transfers are going on. It's just boring. Like, it's just another day for me now. It's not like a holiday that it used to be.
No, I don't flinch about deadline day anymore. And that's sad.
Did we used to get that day off? I never remember that.
No, but it felt like
didn't get it off.
It felt like a bank.
I'm gonna have the day off.
You'd sit down all day, watch transfer news.
Oh, you're right. I used to do that. I mean, I think that's the thing. You don't get any surprises anymore. We did have Pedro Neto. That was very surprising.
Do you know what I think I might do? I'm going to trial something for the next window. I think I'm going to block Fabrizio Romano on Twitter and just and then I'll see what happens. See if that makes it brings the magic back for me.
It's just it's that thing because we're always. Chris said it with Caicedo. We've seen every single mock-up of him in a Chelsea shirt that. We're already like, okay, we're numb to it. And that's not that. I remember, like I said, it's so long ago now. Is it nearly 10 years? The Cesc Fabregas deal. Oh, my word. When I saw that
him in front of that table.
And it was so pixelated. And I'm like, what?
The worst picture ever.
I could not. I was like, is that real? Is that real? Oh, man, that was exciting. Oh, I miss them days. It was amazing. It was amazing. Right, so we're going to end with the end of show game. Guess the player by their career path. It's back. And if you're a new listener, here's how it works. I describe a player's career path. The team's job is to figure out who it is. Wikipedia is our reliable source, not a sponsor. The first person to guess correctly takes the win. And if they guess wrong, throws it out until everyone else had a go. So it's 1v1. So if you go early.
I like this game. I do like this game.
Well, today's theme
I'm bad at this game compared to
debut disasters. And it's inspired by Kuzanov's disaster debut. So every player today had what many believe to be a dreadful debut for, at that time, their new club. So, first player started their career at RS Football.
It's not a real team.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
It's just made up, isn't it?
They moved. They played 25 games there. So, they then moved to Juventude.
What?
Juventus. That's
the
Juventus from Wish days, isn't it?
No. Then they moved to Porto B. But you're not going to say Porto because they did not move straight to Porto. They, in fact, went to Dinamo Moscow before going on loan to Fluminense.
What the fuck is this team?
Who is this player?
And then they went, I like it here. I'm going permanently to Fluminense. 2 years later, they thought, you know what? I fancy heading back into Europe. So they go to AC Milan. Before moving to PSG. And then from PSG, they go to Chelsea.
Who is this?
Wait. No. Is it? No, it can't be. No, I'm not. I'm not going for it.
Go on, give me one more. Give me one more.
Their current club is Fluminense.
Oh, I got it. Is it Thiago Silva?
It is
Yeah,
Thiago
of course
Silva.
it is. Of course it is.
And his debut, of course, against West Bromwich Albion, which many said that he was a waste of time. Oh, I'm so glad he wasn't. Right, the next team, next player up, started their career. Oh, fuck's sake, you're going to enjoy this. You're going to mock me. Masala. That was the team. That's who they started their career at. They then moved to Monza.
To Korma.
Shut up. They moved to Monza.
Good bank, to be fair. Good bank.
Okay, no. They then moved to Nice. Come on.
Great biscuit as well.
Very food heavy transfer.
Yeah.
This one.
Well, they moved from Nice to custard cream. No, they did not. They went to Monaco. Before making a big move to Manchester United. Well,
God, I'll go for it. God, I don't think it is,
on.
but I'll go for it. I don't think it is. Anthony Martial.
It's not. Oh, you're frozen out.
That's unlucky.
Ollie, you get the rest of the teams. He goes from Man United to Juventus to Marseille to West Ham. Then retired.
Man United to Juve.
To Marseille to West Ham.
Marseille to West Ham. I don't know. Can we bring Berth back in? I genuinely don't know.
Berth, if you don't... Oh, go on.
Can you just name me the last three clubs again? Sorry.
Juventus, Marseille, West Ham.
Juventus, Marseille, West Ham.
I'll give you the debut. Manchester City. That was their... Oh, that was a bad debut. Some would say he got kicked out of Marseille, ironically.
Got kicked out of Marseille?
No, I don't know.
Who is it? Go on. Wait.
It's not Eric Cantona, is it?
It's not. It's actually...
I love this game.
Patrice Evra, of course it is.
Patrice Evra. Yeah. And finally, this final player started their career at West Ham United before making a move to Chelsea. Could be any year. Could be the 80s. Could be the 90s. Could be the 2030s. You know, they've not happened yet, but it could be.
All right, I'm going to go for it. Is it Frank Lampard?
It's not. Oh, Berth, you can win today.
So West Ham to Chelsea, yeah? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
They then make a move to Liverpool.
I've got it.
Go on.
Is it Joe Cole?
It's Joe Cole who went to loan to Lille, West Ham again, Villa, Coventry on loan, permanently to Coventry, and then Tampa Bay Rowdies. And the debut was against Arsenal for Liverpool when he got sent off. That was when you knew. But it's kind of that tradition of when Chelsea sell to a top team, usually that player's on the decline. Kovacic probably is an exception because he's not really declined, but he's hardly prime, I'd say, at City, but who cares? Right, listeners, we're at the end of another episode. Thank you as always for tuning in. Of course, proud to remind you of our partnership with Head in the Game, the mental health charity using football to support wellbeing in the community. You can check them out at headinthegame.co.uk. Treat yourself well. We'll be back on Friday, and Chris suggested we do player rankings, so I'm curious why he suggested that. We've got another 8 weeks before, I think, is it 6 games or 8 games before another international break? We should not be annoyed at that because that's bloody lovely. You know, I
think it's March, isn't it? It's March, isn't it?
It's about March. It could be. I'm going to look, actually. I'm curious. How many games is it? Let's find out. How many games? Because we've got Brighton back-to-back soon. I know that.
Yeah, Brighton's our next game, isn't it?
And then it's the next game as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 games. But all rankings could change all between then and then. So we're going to do those. So treat yourself well. And till next time, that's us signing off. You've been listening to At The Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At The Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.